Greenwich Park by Katherine Faulkner, published by Bloomsbury, and this is a thriller, a psychological thriller set in Greenwich, around Greenwich Park, in London. I listened to this on audiobook, and I was really anxious always to keep picking it up and listen to see where the end would take me. And it's a good ending. It's a really good, progressive, easy to understand narrative, which always helps with thrillers. There are no sort of loose ends, so that's good. It's basically the story of Helen. Helen is married to Daniel, and they live in this amazing house. If you know Greenwich Park at all, there are some wonderful, wonderful houses around the edge of the park that have quite a lot of history. She has a brother called Rory, who is married to Serena, and they live on the other side of the park. Rory and Daniel both work in an architectural practice that has come through Helen's family, and Rory's obviously, and they are busy working on new projects. It feels as though things are a little bit tricky over there, but Daniel's away at work an awful lot. And Helen and Serena are both pregnant. Helen has kind of lost her sense of self, and she goes to antenatal classes, and there she meets Rachel. Now Rachel is the character, the one to watch. Rachel and Helen are very, very different people, but it is very clear that Rachel is inveigling herself into Helen's life, and they have coffee together, and Rachel keeps popping up. Helen recognises there is something not quite kosher about the whole thing, but she kind of gets on with it because actually she seems to be quite a lonely person. Serena and Rory were supposed to come to antenatal classes, but they had something else to do. And Daniel, he's absent. He's both physically absent and emotionally absent to her. And in her house, they are having major renovations done. A new kind of cellar, living space put in. So there's an awful lot of upheaval in her life. And with her pregnancy, she's just losing her way. There comes a point where one of the characters goes missing, and then the story takes a new trajectory. I think, having read this and having grown up in Greenwich, I really enjoyed kind of going around the park. It's very atmospheric because it is set in the run-up to Christmas, so you've got the shushing of the leaves, the autumnal feel, the big trees, then you get the frost, and that really kind of adds to the sense of tension as it gradually builds. So this is certainly a thriller that I would recommend. I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed revisiting places of childhood, like the Cutty Sark. They also go to one of the local ancient pubs, which I think is 17th century, the Plume of Feathers. So setting is certainly quite a character in this book, which is obviously our remit. But I think the author, what she does really well is keep the tension going. She writes in a very fluid way, and she has a real skill to kind of present her story to her reading public. So I think Greenwich Park by Katherine Faulkner is certainly one to pick up if you like a good psychological thriller.